following is a special presentation. From the Captain eSports Network.
This isn't just a game. This is iRacing. Well, it is time for something different here tonight as we get you ready after a 2-week break from the Masters of the Draft in the National Association for Stock Car Virtual Racing as we get you to Daytona tonight for a third time this season. We are racing a 2.5-mile tri-oval track at 31 degrees of banking as we get you ready to see who can be the Master of the Draft here at the World's Center of Racing. It is the third portion of 6. As tonight, we start something kind of different, something you don't normally see. And well, by the look on the screen, you might be like, "Is there something wrong with this man's stream?" No, there's actually not. I figured, well, since we're going to drive the 87's tonight, might as well make the picture look like it's 1987, right? I mean, let's get ready to go. As we go 4 races in the old 1987 cars from Daytona International Speedway starting here tonight. It is, of course, the Masters of the Draft presented by Vet to Track as qualifying is beginning right about now as we get out here onto the track right away. And we're going to have a pre-race, of course, coming up here in mere moments. But I know your eyes are probably like, what in the world? Don't worry, I will change it back here momentarily, but we're going to let you enjoy here a moment of what it looks like in 1987 on the screen as these guys get out here on the track, of course, this evening. So this can kind of show us how thankful we should be that we're in 1080p and all that good stuff instead of running the old 8-bit, as you're seeing on the screen right now, as Tommy Rogers comes on the track. And why have we transitioned in life? Look at this car out there. You think you almost got to work the tracking on your device or something to get the old VCR player to work the tape. But the great news is we don't have to worry about that technology anymore as we bring the 1987's to life like it's 2024. Of course, qualifying presented by Vivid EV. And with the click of a button, voila, we are normal again. So hopefully you enjoyed a little throwback to the 80s era's cars on the track here. Let's see where we're looking right now as Dylan Picklesimmer on the pole. Greg Thompson, a 44.06, sitting there P2 right now. Again, hopefully everybody enjoyed their time off from the break. And of course, these guys got a lot of practice racing and stuff, so we would expect to see potentially a good race this evening. We shall see. But these cars are very tricky. They don't have the downforce that these cars have today. They don't have the drag and stuff, but these cars do have the speed. There's no restrictor plate in these motors. These are the cars that were going 210 to 212 mile an hour around Talladega before Bobby Allison. By the way, timing of this week, rest in peace to the legend there who passed away this past weekend. But Bobby Allison unfortunately had that hard wreck at Talladega where he flew up into the catch fence, and NASCAR said, all right, time to slow these cars down. And ever since then, we've had restrictor plates and now to the tapered spacer racing super speedway style that we have in NASCAR. As here's Ryan Wilson on track. He's in a Pontiac Grand Prix from the 87 year as he qualifies fourth right now with a 43.92. Everybody will make the race here this evening, but still must put a qualifying effort in, as most of the cars have done so far here tonight. Andrew Moore here in the 77, looking pretty sporty. He's in the purple in this Weiss number 77. As he goes P2, 43.84. He lost 2 1,000ths in the end there. Came ever so close to getting the pole. As here's the 31 of Scott Wise. The boss man on track. Lets it drift out to the wall as he's going to bring it down across the tri-oval to the start-finish line. That's probably going to slow him down, actually, as he's P7, 43.94. And everybody has got a lap in. The only one who has not finished his second lap, there's a couple, actually, Travis Gilbert and Drift, who is in the field here tonight. 21 cars, it looks like, as of right now. Jason Branch is the only one who's not ran a qualifying lap here so far. It actually makes 20 cars, I should say. As Drift running his typical Drift King car. As he will bring it to the tri-oval. Let's see how Drift's lap looks. As he will go to 7th. As Travis Gilbert crosses the line. And he will be 10th. So Shane Ward going to win the Vivid EV Pole Award with a 43.81. It's a great lap on his part as he will score the pole. And I believe this is his first pole this season. So congratulations to Mr. Ward there in the 39 car. Of course, everybody's meeting up right now for the drivers meeting that they do between races. So this is our opportunity to start the pre-race show, if you will, portion of the program. But a big shout out to Vivid EV for sponsoring the Pole Award this evening. So as I mentioned before, this is the third leg, if you will, of season 2. Of course, we kicked off with the trucks back in August. We ran the Gen 7 to next gen cars during the month of October. And now for the month of November and a little bit of December, we will be in the 87's, basically, starting tonight here at Daytona. Next week, iRacing Super Speedway. We come back to Daytona, and we throw some bumps on it and make it look like it's 1987 all over again with the cars. And then to Talladega to finish it out in December, right before we get to Christmas time. And then, of course, we'll have a all-star race on the 17th before we take that 2 weeks off and start 2025 in the Xfinity car. And going to be a very interesting rest of the season here so far. It's been a great 8 races here. This is race 9 overall tonight. There are 2 different point battles to watch so far, as Joe Wells has actually won both of the championships, believe it or not, in the season so far. So he's got the overall points lead, and he barely won the Next Gen Series championship as he was involved in some accidents and stuff. And in the end, it actually 4 points was the separation. I don't think that's an accurate posting here. Let me go back and grab the one that Scott posted here over in chat. I know it shows that. Thought I had the updated one, but apparently I do not. And here we are. So Joe Wells won that championship by 4, believe it or not, over Travis Gilbert, Shane Ward, Daryl Johnson, Ryan Wilson was your top 5. And again, forgive me for thought I had the right one loaded, but I do not. So let me fix that one really quickly, and it will show you the overall point standings here as we go into tonight's race here. There's your proper Gen 7 points entering tonight in the 4 starts. And then the overall points here, it is Joe Wells leading, and this one should be accurate, by 45. Nope, it's actually 52. So this is not accurate either. I'm firing my producer. Gosh dang it. Bobby Hill had 1 job tonight. Dang it, Bobby. There we go. 52 points to Travis Gilbert, and then it's a long ways back to Shane Ward, Daryl Johnson, Scott Wise. But the great thing about this car is it opens the door for a lot of drivers to make up some time here, because basically when it's all said and done, you are looking at handling and potential wrecks and so on and so forth getting into play here, that it definitely could get a little bit interesting. So we'll see how it all transpires. That's what's going to make this 87 league pretty fun here for these 4 races. And to be honest with you, I don't know if I've called an 87 league. I know I've done some races here and there, but I'm not sure about the whole league thing. It's been a lot of leagues for me here recently. But G Lightning dominating right now, the top 2 in points, but the Motors part of the team, those guys have just stretched away as they got 5 of the 7 wins so far this season. Make that 5 of the 8, because 4 plus 4 is 8 Scala. And then race 9 here tonight to get all that figured out, to see if any of these teams can gain some points on the dominant G Lightning Motorsports team. As I think I don't know, I'm still waiting on the drivers meeting to be over with tonight. 80 laps here. We'll have the 2 stages as usual, which will be at lap 16 and lap 40 as one car tries to blow over practice, which you could see here tonight. We saw it a little bit in the truck series, and here tonight, these 87s, obviously that air can get underneath that car and just whoosh it on over. And not to mention, there's that possibility of cars getting loose. I do remember when this first car came out, I got up on the left rear of somebody, and I was like, ooh, I found a good way to make some people mad here. So looking forward to seeing what these guys can put on here this evening. Again, big thanks to our main sponsor here tonight of the league, Vet2Track, which is a group, an organization that helps vets get back on the track, and they get them on motorcycles and let them enjoy some of their dreams and so on and so forth. Big shout out to Vet2Track. They've sponsored the series here, and not only that, they are sponsoring the championship, the victory lane, and so on and so forth here throughout the season. So big shout out to Vet2Track for all the hard work that they do here for the series. As should be about to clear out of the meeting here any minute. It's one reason why I'm kind of stalling here, so I can go get our pole sitter, and maybe we'll talk to couple drivers here as the championship wrapped up a couple weeks ago for the next gen car. Gives me an opportunity. We'll go ahead and say also sponsoring tonight, Vivid EV, as mentioned. They're an electric vehicle, primary golf carts, and so on and so forth. But they're a sponsor of the Pole Award, as you saw. Of course, Wise Guy iRacing Paintings and Superior Templating. Sponsors per usual. Superior Templating has the Hard Charger Award, which would be the person that starts worst and gets the best finish out of the group. And of course, Wise Guy, the sponsor of the stages here tonight when it's all said and done here this evening, as we got about 4 minutes to go here before the green flag, and these cars will be racing here. We go check on the meeting room here, and it looks like they're not done quite yet, so stand by and we should be on the track here any minute here. This track built in, of course, 1959, hosting the first Daytona 500 after racing on the beach. Took 2.5 days for the race to, from the finish to declare a winner by a still photo. Lee Petty, of course, winning that race. And ever since then, 66 years later, and all the Daytona 500s that have been run here at this track, and all the Firecracker / Pepsi / Coke Zero 400s that have been done in what the time was July, now in August or September, depending on whenever NASCAR decides to throw the race up. It needs to go back to July, but that's another opinion for another day on that one. All right, Shane Ward, let's I want to grab him from this channel over here, but he's kind of hanging out here. So here's what we'll do. Let's go ahead and go do the anthem, and we'll come back and talk to Shane before the start of this race.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, back we are here at Daytona. Cars are on the track. I want to send a special shout out to all the veterans that are, of course, participating not only in the race here tonight, but also watching the broadcast here tonight and all over the world. If you know a veteran, make sure you spend time to say thank you to them. There's plenty in this league. Of course, the owner of the league, Scott Wise, being one of many in this league. So obviously, this is our opportunity to say thank you to the vets. I know yesterday was Veterans Day, but any day should be Veterans Day technically, so we should always thank a veteran not only that have been a part of the service, but also are still a part and out there fighting for our country as the people have split up and oh, drift. This is what you call daring me, is what this is. Drift has changed his name in chat to no interview in Discord. Of course, Drift knows the only one person has ever gotten an interview out of him on the air. And you're talking to him right here. All right, let's get our pole sitter here real quickly. And that is Shane Ward, who gets the pole award, of course, here tonight. Congratulations, Shane, on this fast lap. The question here, obviously, one, how wild are we going to see this racing being on the track? But two, can we back up the pole with a win?
I'm hoping I can back it up with a win. I know it's going to be hectic out here. It's all a matter of how everybody actually controls this car is how good the race is going to be, right? So, but I'm just hoping to stay in front of it, out of the way.
So, talk about the car itself. How's the handling out there on this track? And are we going to see a lot of side-by-side? Is it going to be a lot of nose to tail, a lot of just kind of racing the track yourself? What do we expect?
I think there's not going to be a lot of side-by-side because I don't think a lot of people are very confident with the car. I think it's going to be single file as soon as you possibly can get. It's really tough in the corners. You have to, like, I lived a little bit earlier than a lot of people to make the corners, but it's going to be really interesting. That's all I could say.
Well, we're looking forward to it, man. Congratulations on getting the Vivid EV Pole Award here tonight, and all the best.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate
yes,
it.
Sir. Yes, sir. I send him to the G Lightning channel. Shane Ward going to be the pole sitter here this evening. Let's take you down to the grid and show you the starting lineup here for this first race, the Masters of the Draft. 87 cars here at Daytona. Shane Ward on the pole. Andrew Moore going to start there on the outside of row 1. Dylan Picklesimmer, Greg Thompson there in row number 2. Ryan Wilson, AJ Condon in row 3. Drift going to start there in row 4 alongside Scott Wise, Derek Jacobs, Travis Gilbert, who's finished runner-up in both of the overall championships, but had 2 wins in the Next Gen run just a few weeks ago. James Hudson, Brian Hayes there in row number 6. Row 7, Daryl Johnson and Quentin Clark. Tommy Rogers, Brady Korowski, Tim Shiflett, Joe Wells, Eddie Rawaldi, and Jason Branch, and Dusty White, who's going to start over there on pit road. And I think that's because he got in so late he was not able to run a qualifying lap, which per the rules, I believe, means he will have to start in the pits, I believe. And that could play as a disadvantage for him. Race information tonight, 76 degrees ambient, 78 down on the track, 55% humidity, which is pretty low for Florida. Clear skies and 7-mile-an-hour winds. I appreciate all the viewers here tonight. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you could, please. See them rolling down the back straightaway. And for those who've never seen a race of 1987 cars, you're going to see speeds over 220, 225 miles an hour into the corners, and you're going to see these cars slide around Just think of it like a traditional race at, say, Charlotte or Texas or a Chicagoland or something like that, because you're going to see the cars having to let up and not brake necessarily, but get out of the gas and control the car sliding through the corner, and which means it's going to prohibit some tire wear and so on and so forth. But these cars are going to definitely bring the energy here tonight as they come off turn number 4. Again, the first stage tonight, 16 laps. Second stage, 40 laps, which will lead us to the total of 80 laps. And something new here tonight you will see in just a second is we'll be able to help you remember what the stages are this evening as we come to the start of the third section of the Masters of the Draft. The 87's begin now at Daytona. Retro racing on the new track. Our cameras presented by TrackCams22.com. You check them out online on Facebook and the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. And already saw Quentin Clark and Tim Shiflett. Not sure if there was an issue there, but Clark's off the pace. Jason Branch, I think, has started on pit road. Dusty White is waiting, and he's going to launch here off of pit road in a second. But you're going to see these cars split out as they race their way up to speed side by side as Pickle Simmer brings them into turn 3 and 4. Gonna hold that 12 car on the bottom there. Shane Ward, the pole sitter, top side. As they race to the start-finish line, and lap 1 led by Pickle Simmer in the 12 car. And very impressive here, side by side. And look at Drift up there putting the bumper to 39. Who said you could bump draft these cars? They never did that back in the heyday. But when you bring the technology of cars today into life, here we go. As the 22, Travis Gilbert already up 7 spots in the outside lane. He's roaring up to the front. Along with Ryan Wilson, Scott Wise, top 5 cars. 42.83 that time by, which is some of 208, 209 mile an hour average. These boys are getting it 3 wide as Shane Ward gets in the sucker hole, which, believe it or not, exists. There's Greg Thompson there in the 08. Have to keep an eye on him in the 22 car, as they had a nice fancy gathering during the off-season of talking to each other. Drift trying to get that lead through 1 and 2. Wise kind of sliding up the track right now. The car is handling okay because of the tires not really too worn out yet, but they're going to get there eventually. There's one car, I think it's Gilbert. Somebody's having some blinking. It is Gilbert. Gilbert's going to unfortunately have some blinking issues here, and we'll see if he can get it fixed up. I know Lauren Wise here tonight. She will definitely get that taken care of real quick. There's 12 laps to go already in this stage. They're going to tick off really quickly. Let's put on here a good show so far. First 11 cars separated out pretty close together. And then Derek Jacobs back here, 12th position. He and Tommy Rogers and James Hudson kind of hanging out on their own back here. And then all the way back here is Eddie Rawadi and Joe Wells. They purposely kind of started back a little bit, I think, to let this race come to them. And they're going to draft together. They got Brady Karowski, Tim Shiflett back there, and mentioned Quentin Clark. He is way on back here running on his own in this paint scheme that, I don't know, but look at this car. You get a close-up on this. Interesting. But anyways, Quentin's in the 19th position. Dusty White, who is actually in the 11 car here tonight. He is, from what I read, he was subbing for, I'm trying to remember who the driver was he is subbing for this evening. I saw it in Al Likens. And that's with the 11 there of Dusty White. And Jason Branch out here in the old Hardee's Cale Yarborough. Number 28 cars. Up front, Travis Gilbert has gone to the lead. Drift just got the outside wall a little bit. These cars will get a lot of air and draft really well together as here comes Scott Wise. You're starting to see these cars kind of slide around a little bit. That's where Drift got the wall a minute ago and a few others. This is where the handling gun ends in a play and 2 cars in the outside wall. And everybody's going to be okay, it looks like. That was A.J. Condon and the Daryl Johnson car as somebody else is blinking now. Everybody able to save it here so far as Wise and Gilbert battle. It's a Pontiac there on the inside to 31 of Scott Wise. The 22 there on the outside. I appreciate the viewers coming to hang out with us on this Tuesday evening. If you get a chance, share it out to your friends and family. Let them know that we're racing here tonight and got some old school racing. Looking at about 10 cars right now in this lead pack. There's Brian Hayes. Lap times last time by at 44 seconds or so. Oh, and up front, see one car sideways. I see a fender on the track. And around goes Andrew Moore. And that's going to bring the caution out. And they do get a reset to use here this evening. But Andrew Moore, the outside pole sitter, goes wee, and caution goes out. Daryl Johnson might have been involved in that. Uh-oh. Andrew's Hood's talking to me. All right, let's see what brought out this caution. This started right there in turn 3. Scott gets in the back of the 22. And just a chain reaction, unfortunately. 77. I think the transition from banking to the apron actually ripped the front end off his car. Here's where unfortunately the 5 gets into the 77 with the checkup, and yeah, there goes the front end right there, ripped off. All right, so caution at lap 9. Who comes to pit road here early? Who wants these early stage points potentially here? Drift stays out. Gilbert stays out, and others come in. Looks like a majority of the field, about a majority of the field comes in here. Either get damage fixed and so on and so forth, and 4 tires and fuel, which is going to take a little bit of time to get the tires and stuff done, because in 1987, a 4-tire pit stop was somewhere in the sorts of 25 seconds. So this will be the part of the race where you definitely get to see some of those guys that may be riding the back want to try to get up here and get some stage points before we get to the end of stage 1. As cars involved in that getting either damage fixed or any other issues fixed right now. So got plenty of time to do so. And they should get 1 to go this time by, and we'll get the green with 4 to go. And for those curious, I'll go ahead and kind of share the information here really quickly. The item you are seeing over on my screen that showing the stage length, it's actually an app that I found through iRacing, iRacing Auto Stages. And I'm trying to remember the gentleman's name. It's if you go into the AI discussion in the forums, you can actually find this app. And now, I won't be able to do anything tonight because I'm not an admin, but for those who run a league that has stage racing, this will actually help you because it actually does throw the cautions for you and does everything. And it was actually created by a gentleman named Blair Thomas. So, big shout out to Blair for his hard work, and it's a really cool deal, and sometime we'll be using it as we do some AI stuff here starting this week. Where we're going to do our best to simulate the 2024 Cup Series without the playoffs. Because a lot of us feel the playoffs are a joke. So who really would have been the champion? We're going to do our best to sim that. Real life, it actually been Christopher Bell. And thank you, viewers, for hanging out here on this Tuesday evening. So the front 6-7 cars stayed out. Shane Ward, the first one out. Quentin Clark, Dylan Pickle, Simmer, Dusty White, Jason Branch, Brady Korowski for Branch and White. That caution paid off for them because they are now back in this pack. And only one car is a lap down right now, and that's Daryl Johnson. If he can just back out if I was him and run about a half a track back for these next 4 laps and let them wreck or whatever and take the caution, get the lucky dog, and be back on the lead lap. As pace car going to pull off. As drift launches, and here we go. Of course, this is a fixed setup for those curious. It's not like these guys have random setups in here. Everybody running a Daytona fixed setup, so all the cars set up equally. A little checkup there as the 39 Award gets in the back of the 34 Tommy Rogers. I'm sure Tommy's not going to be too thrilled with that. Here comes the 42 of Quentin Clark to the outside. We're going to be 3 wide off 2. 3 wide, multiple rows back. As Gilbert goes to the front for a second. Gilbert kind of running a... You wouldn't fool me. Is that an old NBNA Bill Davis number 22 car? Even though it's an 87 car. Kind of has that look to her. As, look at this. Shane Ward already up to 4th. 3 laps to go. This is going to be a great question to find out how much tires are going to be important here. Greg Thompson up to 3rd. Looking towards the back, couple of cars have kind of fallen off a little bit, but otherwise, everybody's trying to draft their way up there as we come to 2 laps to go. Drift up front, doing a great job here. The Snellville, Georgia native. Small town just to the north, or more to the east, I guess, of Atlanta. south of the, oh, little door banging there. It's 34, gets into 12 into the 47. A little bit of right front damage. The 47 is going to rub up against the wall. That's never good. As the pushing getting intense now up front. Ward trying to help his teammate Gilbert. As final lap in the stage. And I do note as we come to the checkered flag, you're going to see a little bit of an experiment out of me. As we come to the checker, here's Gilbert. Almost gets the outside wall. Greg does get the outside wall. As some contact happening up front as Shane Ward goes to the lead. Others go scattering. More contact as Branch gets into the 22. As they come racing to the start-finish line. And Shane Ward going to be the Stage 1 winner. And I'm not sure how accurate this is, but let's hope it's accurate. Drift finishing second. I thought it was the end of stage 1, is it not? They're still racing out here. Well, somewhere in here the caution will get thrown. I'm apparently off. I could have swore I saw 16, did I not? Yeah, caution's supposed to have been thrown. Well, we're still going. Oh well, A for effort. I tried. Ward, it's Ward back to the lead. We'll just wait for it to get thrown, I guess. As across the line this time by the 12 leading by a nose, literally. Oh, apparently I'm being told there's no stage cautions anymore. All right, well. Okay, then. But we continue green. I might have been told this, who knows. I'm not perfect. As James Hudson has taken his car off the track, unfortunately, it looks like, so the 6 behind the wall. The next stage will end at lap 20 officially, or lap 40, I'm sorry. So 20 laps to go now officially in stage 2. Apparently, it's been the way it is all season. As I think about it now, there have been cautions around the stages, so I wonder if that maybe is just throwing me off. But either way, it is what it is. We digress. All right, so Gilbert out to the front. Branch now up to second. Drift up to third. Is pack getting a little bit bigger now. First 9 cars right here in this tight pack. And in 10th place, back there is Joe Wells in that G Lightning number 3. The Swisher Sweets number 3. Unless he's autographed his own rear end back there. That's kind of interesting. So Quentin Clark having a good run there. 4th position now. He's worked his way up in that blue, orange, green. That's the 3 colors I'm seeing mostly on that car. So 14 cars all within about 2 seconds of the lead. And Scott Wise back here 6.3 or so seconds back. And then Brian Hayes behind him. Karowski and Derek Jacobs. AJ Condon 12 seconds back, and Darrell Johnson, who is a lap down right now, waiting to get a caution maybe to get back on this lead lap. Drift doing a great job just kind of holding down Gilbert there, but Gilbert maintaining his lane, leading laps. So going to be interesting here with the fuel to see when these cars will have to come to pit road here. I would think before the end of stage 2. A lot of these cars that did not pit under that caution are going to be on pit road here before the stage ends, and that's really going to split this field up if that happens. That's Quentin Clark on the top side, up 13 positions. Leads that lap in that Ford Thunderbird. Pickle Simmer there on his outside. You can see the exhaust pipes letting out the fire as people had to get out of the gas. Cars rolling down to about 195 miles an hour through the corners. And then from there, they're right back to the throttle, and they are scooting. Let's see what a top speed looks like here over, I see 214 in the turn 3 and 4. And I mean, you're literally, let's go on board with the car here and watch, because they are literally, it's like a big Charlotte Motor Speedway race almost. Let's listen to the cars here for a second. Coming into play, got to kind of conserve your tires and work on that a little bit. And mixed up, by the way, in all of that. Let's give credit to our Stage 1 winner, Shane Ward, who gets that. And as per usual, our stage winner presented by Wise Guy iRacing Graphics. So congratulations to the 39 on getting stage 1 of this first race of this 87 series. 4 races strong, starting here tonight at Daytona before we get to iRacing Super Speedway next week. And then back here on the old version of Daytona. And then Talladega to finish it out right before we go on a little Christmas break, we will get the All-Star race, of course, in a super late model coming to us. There's almost some contact there with Quentin Clark. Oh, there maybe is some contact. It's Clark. Did he save this car? He sure did. And we stay green even though there's a fender rolling down the track. Great save by Quentin Clark in the 42. I don't know whose fender that was, but somebody's missing something. Front end of Greg Thompson's car looks like a little smashed up in the front end, but these guys are going to get lined up here. Especially down these straightaways. Corners you maybe can spread out a little bit, but then you get back on these straightaways, you want to get to pushing each other however much you can. But this second group going to come together here with about 6 or 7 cars strong. Wonder how much that nose damage is hurting that 08 car as Gilbert continues to lead, showing his prowess on the super speedway track. Quentin Clark has come to pit road. Not sure if he's got a meatball or not. Of course, one big difference from 1987 to now is in 87, there was no speed limit to pit road. Then the unfortunate accident that happened in Atlanta Motor Speedway in 1990 with a crew member from Bill Elliott's number 9 team passing away on pit road due to an incident with a race car. And NASCAR then instituted pit road speed limits. So 9 laps to go in stage 2. Brian Hayes comes to pit road. This might be a schedule. Oh no! That car's destroyed. There's maybe too much rear brake. And that thing careens into the inside wall off turn 4. And that 47 car is going to need a reset and 4 tires and fuel. And he's going to lose a lot of time off that. Let's see if I can go back and find you as here come pit stops. Travis Gilbert going to come to pit road in this vet to track number 22. Now, it is definitely guaranteed you will lose your lap under green here, taking 4 tires and fuel. As right side tires go on. Left side's going on a 22 car, and let's see what it looks like. 22.6 second stop as the leader's already coming through the tri-oval right now as Drift comes to pit road as he locks her up a little bit. As 23 Ryan Wilson gets his front end fixed up. Right side tires there for the 23 car. So it looks like 4 tires and fuel for everybody right now. And this is definitely going to separate the field out. And right side tires for Drift. And that hands the lead to Eddie Roddy in the 33 car. Dylan Picklesimmer, Shane Ward, your top 3. Jason Branch, Joe Wells, Dusty White, your 4th through 6th place drivers. As Drift has got issues over in turn 1 and 2, he has wrecked it. The Drift King, unfortunately, has lost the car. He stayed on the apron, so the green stays out. Pit road follies. You got a back end talking to me. Gregory Thompson on pit road in the 08 car. And one thing we can safely say is that, yeah, the pit stops might have been something that, unfortunately, drivers didn't get a chance really to do in practice, as they probably didn't expect green flag pit stops. But we've seen some good, clean racing here. So 4 laps to go this time by. Everybody pretty much running about the same lap times right now. The front 3 have about a 3.7 second lead over this pack. And there's some fresher tires actually up here in front of this pack now. You wonder how much that might pull them up a little bit here. As you see the Quentin Clark 42 car, and there goes Gilbert Pine to 22. So there's your question about handling in these cars with tires. I mean, they are definitely playing a role here. Which makes me even more shocked that Drift took 2 tires, but unfortunately he kind of paid for that move. Three laps to go, and then back here Andrew Moore running by himself in the 7th position. Derek Jacobs kind of by himself in 8th. Scott Wise and Brady Korowski is your top 10 right now. And Brady's out here by himself in the old Camel car. There's your first 2 cars a lap down now officially. As they try to catch the leaders, you see Drift off the pace in that 4 car. Raleigh crosses the line, 2 laps to go. It's been great. This has been fun to watch. These guys have done a great job. And it's a matter of, can Pickle Simmer or even Shane Ward there in 3rd go slingshot engaged on the 33, but needless to say, that 39 is actually a teammate, so I wouldn't be surprised if the 33, with the help of the 39, maybe we'll get the stage win here. But Pickle Simmer right there in the 12. As we get the stage number 2. Again, no cautions in the stage. Threw me off. My bad on that one. As Ronnie brings him off turn 2. And the Pickle Simmer in the 12 backs off here. Is he going to try to get himself a draft? Oh, this is a little different, a little unorthodox than what it used to look like in the old days, because usually the draft was down the back straightaway you'd make the move. He's going to try to make it over here in turn 4. He might have waited too long. And he will. As crossing the start-finish line is Eddie Roani will win stage 1. As Pickle Simmer and Shane Ward will be 3rd, with Branch and Joe Wells. Oh, good, it is changing. I was wondering how that would go. Dusty White, Andrew Moore. As cars are on pit road here, so officially, if they did cross the line, that should be how it looks. As actually, Scott Wise is literally 0.2 of a lap. He just crossed the line. In the 10th position, Scott Wise barely gets that final stage point. Congratulations to Eddie Roddy, who wins stage 2, presented by iRacing, Wise Guy iRacing Graphics. And Shane Ward and Dylan Pickle Simmer come to pit road now. 4 tires and fuel for Shane, along with Dylan and Derek Jacobs and Dusty White, Brady Korowski all here. As AJ Condon with a 43-second stop. So a slow stop for him as Eddie Roddy out here just logging laps now by himself. This is where you definitely get that old school feel now. It's the lucky stripe number 33 out here running by himself. Here's Joe Wells on pit road along with Jason Branch. As they will pull away, as here comes Eddie, the leader, to pit road. Ooh, did he overshoot? Oh, he's good to go. 4 tires and fuel for the 33. Great job entering his pit stall. As these will be your leaders right here as they come down off turn 2 down the back straightaway. As the track drops, and let's see how quick this 33 can get up to speed. 23.1. That's going to be the only downfall. So he's going to have to stay on the apron all the way around turn 1 and 2 here. And you're going to see Gilbert and them fly by right there. Along with the 23 of Ryan Wilson, who will be the first car a lap down. So this is where Eddie's going to lose out on some time here. But this is where you really kind of get that old school feel. Well, let's take you through the field and show you where everybody is right now on the track as your leaders right here, first and second, as Travis Gilbert leads Quentin Clark, who had some issues there and was able to make up some time with a 2-tire stop as he runs first and second right now. Shane Ward in the third position. They are 4.6 seconds back. And he's out here by himself right now trying to get his teammate up there to him, Eddie Roddy, who's about a second back from Shane, as he's probably in the draft right now, so should be okay. Jason Branch having a good run, 5th position there with Joe Wells and Dylan Picklesimmers. These guys are about 1.4 seconds back from Eddie, so they should be able to draft up to Eddie and should get about a 4 or 5 car pack here, which could make things interesting as we go along here in the race. Should still have one more pit stop here before this thing's over with. Andrew Moore is 12 seconds back from the leader in the 77 car after being involved in the 1 caution here so far. He is in the 8th position. Dusty White in the 11 car, 9th position for him, as he has gained 12 right now in the race. And then behind him, Derek Jacobs, the 10th place car. Yes, he's done a good job keeping his car clean. Greg Thompson in the 08 car had some damage earlier. He's got that good wrench ride with Scott Wise there behind him, 11th and 12th, as those two are trying to draft their way up ahead. Everybody pretty much running 44-second laps right now. As Tim Shiflett, the 54 car, doing a good job. Tommy Rogers, 14th position there in the 34. Having a good run here so far. And Brian Hayes, who took his nose off there on pit road trying to get in. Unfortunately for Brian, he is about to lose a lap here. Unfortunately in a 47 car. Ryan Wilson is a lap down. Matter of fact, he is the first car a lap down as he just kind of tails the 2 leaders there, which is kind of a prime position for someone who might be trying to get a lucky dog. If a caution comes out, he can hang right there, and every time the leaders pass somebody to put him a lap down, there's Ryan to go right there around at the same time as AJ Condon in the 5 car. So 11th or 17th position for him, as these guys back at this far are going to need a lot of help to get back in this race, as Darrell Johnson, the 93 car, running in the 18th position. And Brady Karowski right there behind him in 19th as he tries to draft off the 27 car. And then there's 150-mile drift. Drifts in a 87, driving it like a street stock. Drift doing a good job, just holding his lane. I'm sure there will be the one car that'll be out there, hey, somebody at minimum speed. But he's doing exactly what you should do if you're a slower car, and that's hold your lane. But needless to say, these guys are going almost 60 miles an hour faster right now in this car. As here we go, the packs have come together, at least this second and third pack. And that's going to bring Joe Wells up to the 3rd position now, as these guys will try to roar in the top 2 cars, and it's already down to 3 seconds, so they're a lot faster. Let's take an opportunity real quickly to throw a couple of shout-outs out as per usual. A big shout-out to 40 Racewear, as Jim Herrick does a great job supplying gloves and shoes to those who like to enhance their iRacing experience. You can do so by checking out 40racewear.com. Their link is in the bottom in the race information page there underneath the screen that you're watching. Make sure you click that link and go check out the website. And also a big shout out to my buddy Mark at MC Racing in Fort Wayne, of course, for broadcasting all the Captain eSports races there on his screen. His multiple screens, I should say, there downtown. And if you ever get a chance to come through the area, you can stop in and do some racing there on his sims at MC Racing. And who knows, you might even run into a league member, Krishan Elliott, who lives right down the road from the place. Just saying. All right, so 28 laps to go in this race. Still got one more pit stop. Gilbert and Clark just out here minding their P's and Q's. Gilbert's led the most laps here this evening. Of course, entering this race, he's fallen just short of the 2 championships on the line. But he pretty much has been well documented for saying that, you know what, he as in Joe Wells can have those 2. He wants the regular season title. Wants the overall master of the draft. There's Eddie right there, Joe Wells. These guys catching the 2 leaders here. Eddie doing it pretty much all by himself, as he's got 11 lap newer tires than the 22 and 42. And much like I said, if you looked at this race and watched it like a 1.5 mile speedway race or a 2 mile Michigan race, that's exactly what we're seeing here. With the way that the tire strategy is coming into play here. Let's see if Eddie goes ahead and blows by these guys, or if they're just going to push. I mean, I'm kind of thinking that Eddie's just got to take advantage here. He's got the newer tires. Go. Jason Branch back here going to take the 4th position away. Did Eddie just get the outside wall? One car up the track. I didn't get a clear view of who it was. Maybe it was Joe Wells because he's off the pace back here. As all of a sudden Eddie gets out of shape off turn 4. That almost looked like maybe a planned move to the back after seeing the situation or whatever there. That's interesting. Or is Eddie maybe just trying to tail on to Joe Wells back here? But very interesting play there. Check back here. There's Andrew Moore hanging by himself in the 8th position. 12.5 seconds back. And Scott Wise and Greg Thompson, they were working together for a little bit, but it looks like Greg is actually pulled away from the 31 car. As Tommy Rogers has brought the 34 to pit road for his final pit stop of the race here. 24 laps to go now. Greg Thompson coming in. As Branch looking to make a move here to the outside of Clark. One of the questions that comes to my mind as I'm watching this is, how do you save your tires and stay up to speed? Because you got to be able to stay in the draft as this goes on. Branch trying to make moves here. Dusty White has come to pit road. And we're only about 17 laps or so into this run. For most of these cars, Travis Gilbert pitting at 32, so he's actually at 36 laps. So for these guys that pitted around lap 30 to 32, in that range, those guys you're going to see on pit road here relatively shortly, I think. The rest of these cars, I would say, somewhere 10 to 15 to go, maybe. Unless they pit once the windows are open and just take fuel. So that it shortens up the pit stops. But Branch and Gilbert battling, and Gilbert almost making contact here. 83 down the, or I'm sorry, the 42 down the track. And now some contact as the 12 gets all sideways. And then the 42 does a good job to save them. And they're going to lose touch with this pack now, I think. And Quentin Clark's going to get off here and come to pit road. You see him send it into pit road and slides it. Hopefully he didn't get a speeding penalty from that. Well, here's the 42 on pit road. As two cars go wrecking on coming onto the pit road. Scott Wise and Tim Shiflett synchronized whoopsies coming to pit road, and now the leaders are behind them. As 4 tires and fuel for all these cars as they make their final stops here in lap 61, 19 laps to go. As everybody gets away, Jason Branch coming by himself. Again, thank you to the viewers hanging out here this evening. Hopefully you've enjoyed the broadcast and the racing so far here in the Masters of the Draft Series presented by Vet2Track. Of course, Vet2Track, a not-for-profit that helps veterans get back on track in their life and offer them different types of awards and stuff like that, and allows them to train to potentially take motorcycle rides and different stuff like that. But a big shout out to Vet2Track with all the hard work. They ride on a specialized track and get out there, and it's like an outlet for them as they get out there on motorcycles and stuff. Of course, one of the biggest things that veterans battle is PTSD. Among the many mental illnesses out there, PTSD, of course, is a major one, especially for veterans. And as I mentioned, this yesterday being Veterans Day, a day we thank a veteran, but to be honest with you, as I said before, we should be thanking a veteran all 365 days a year. You know, I've shared my stories before. Almost every time I go to a stop, if I'm delivered a package or whatever, if I see a veteran or something, either walking or answering the door, I make sure I spend that quick moment to say thank you for what they've done for this country and what they've done for us as Americans to get out there and enjoy our life as much as possible. You know, I shared the story about a month ago, I think it was, when I was at a restaurant. A World War II veteran walked in, and you know, unfortunately, you know, he had a walker and stuff because, you know, as we've seen, we're losing more World War II veterans more and more as, of course, we carry on with years here. But this gentleman, obviously an elder gentleman, and his table got called or whatever with his family, and, you know, one guy went to help him up by his right arm, and I couldn't help but turn to offer and say, hey, you know, can I help, you know, with the situation or whatever? And of course they politely declined, and I said it was the least I could do, you know, for what this guy did for us over, you know, 80 years ago in World War II and stuff. So take a moment, thank a veteran every day, not just on Veterans Day. As Dylan Picklesimmer, Andrew Moore, Derek Jacobs, those three yet to pit here. And then it should cycle back to Travis Gilbert, who, what do you know, the two are together again. Gilbert and Wells, first and second here of the cars that have pitted. Shane Ward, Eddie Roddy, and Quentin Clark. As Picklesimmer pulls down, he's going to go to pit road now, and not so much. I think he was going too quick and missed it. And unfortunately, he's off the pace a little bit here, about 190 miles an hour, lost a lot of speed, and is going to lose a lot of time now. As Jacobs comes to pit road here, of course, speed limit is 55 miles an hour, and when you're going 215 or so miles an hour in the draft, it could definitely come up on you really quickly. As Dylan's going to stay out here. Yeah, he might be in a situation now with what just happened. He might need to run this tank out and hope for a yellow to maybe be able to come to pit road and do a strategy there, or else his shot to win this race might be out the window now, unfortunately. But right now I'm seeing 8 cars, make that 7 cars on the lead lap. With the way this race has gone, only the 1 caution so far, and that was early in this race, about lap 10. As Joe Wells up the track and off the pace. As Andrew Moore comes to pit road here at lap 69. I wonder if Wells went to the back on purpose and said, I want to be at the back of this line. As they come up on Tim Shiflett and Scott Wise, the 31 and 54 cars. And we are quickly going to see 10 laps to go this time by. There's your leader now. As Picklesim are going to cross the line. As Moore leaves the pit, Dylan pitted at lap 41. So I would say the next 5 laps or so, he's going to be on pit road. Does he dare try a fuel-only stop? Run this tank all the way out, top it off with fuel, and get out. See what you can get. See if you can get up to speed before the leaders get to you. We're going to find out right now as here comes Dylan. And it's actually a 60-mile-an-hour speed limit on pit road, not 55. As he's up there, he was actually at 68 just now. So let's hope iRacing didn't hit him with it. 12 car into his pit stall, overshoots a little bit, not what he wants, making a couple of errors there. And he's taking right side tires. And that's going to be it. He pulls away, and here come the leaders. And they're going to blow by him like he's parked, unfortunately. So 9 laps to go, and it becomes a 5-car race for the win here. And pretty much the 5 of these guys, I think, are teammates. Not all on one specific team per se, but all parts of the G Lightning family. I'll have to check on Quentin Clark, but I believe he's part of the group per se. Jason Branch looking at a top 6 finish for him in the 28 car, 3.2 seconds ahead of Dylan Picklesimmer. And we'll see how much Dylan can make up with the 2 tires on his car. Andrew Moore back to 8th now. Greg Thompson, Derek Jacobs, your top 10. And I'm seeing 12 cars now officially on the lead lap here. As the leader's now 3 cars strong here. Come to 7 laps to go. Can anybody do anything with Gilbert? And look at Clark. He's one that can do something apparently as he goes to the outside by himself trying to make a run. Ooh. As Wells and Roati almost get together back there. Travis Gilbert already the first three-time winner of the season, looking to make it 4 wins in the first 9 starts here. And Shane Ward, who started on the pole, just pushing to 22. Five laps to go, and this is pretty much your one battle right here. These 5 cars, everybody else, big gaps between them for the most part throughout this field. And what a fantastic race this has been. With only the one caution early in this race. Oh, contact between the 42 and 39 as they were trying to push to 22. Here comes Eddie into play now. But these guys are teammates. They're not playing like it. As they race down the back straightaway here. Of course, the old school move back in the day was turn 1 and 2. You backed off the gas and then got the run down the back straightaway and slingshot into turn 3 and took the lead. But, you know, is it going to be a turn 4 move? Does it have to be a backstretch move? Either way, Eddie Roati just hurt himself as he caught the outside wall, and he might lose. I don't know, Joe Wells has fallen off here too, so I was going to say he might lose 4th position, but Joe having issues also handling wise. They're going to be coming up on a lap car. I believe it's going to be the 11 of Dusty White that they're coming up on. It's not Dusty. He's over there in turn 1 and 2. The vet to track 22 coming off turn 4. And we'll have 5 miles to go as Eddie is slowly bringing them in. Wells might be a little too far back. He's 1 second off of Roaldi. And unfortunately, his tires might be just falling off or that damage on his car or something. It's going to be coming a 4-car race here as Clark makes the move to the outside. Eddie going to go with his teammate, but the 42 with too big of a run with the draft of the lap car. To the lead he goes. White flag from Daytona. Oh, the leaders hit each other. As the lap car helping out the 42, it looks like. As Gilbert in the outside wall with damage, and he's off the pace. Can Merwani and Shane Ward get to Clark? As they drag race off turn number 4 to the checkered flag. It is Quentin Clark winning the opening race at Daytona. out of the cars that are a part of the G Lightning team. I believe it's the one that's not officially a part of the team that gets in there and goes and gets the win. And for Clark, who entered the season 13th overall in points, will get his first win of the campaign. And kick off the 87's with a win in a fantastic race. As your top three out there kind of celebrating a little bit. Mark's out here just kind of rolling around here. Not sure if he's got a donut in him or not. All right, well, he might be dead in the water here, but let's go and check out the victory, or the I should say the finishing order in the race. Is Quentin Clark with some last lap dramatic moves, puts the 42 in victory lane here tonight over Shane Ward, Eddie Rorardi third, Travis Gilbert fourth, and Joe Wells fifth, Dylan Picklesimmer sixth, Jason Branch, Andrew Moore, Greg Thompson, and Derek Jacobs, your top 10. 10 cars finishing on the lead lap here tonight. 11th to Tim Shiflett. Scott Wise finishing 12th. Tommy Rogers 13th. Ryan Wilson and AJ Condon 14th and 15th. Darrell Johnson, Dusty White, Brian Hayes, Brady Korowski, and Drift finishing 20th with James Hudson. Unfortunately, finishing off the track in the 21st position. As Quentin's down there, I think he might have actually virtually jumped out of the car and celebrating. Who knows? But the top three are in the waiting room, and we'll go down and talk to these drivers. Let's start with the Ero, as I like to call him sometimes. Eddie Rorardi finishing third here tonight. Eddie, thought for a little bit you might have a chance to win that thing, and you fought back after clipping the wall. There were just a couple laps to go to get yourself in position, and things just didn't work out for you, but still a third place finish tonight.
Yeah, how about it? Definitely happy to get a nice result finally. It was definitely not an easy race. I feel like halfway through I started to find the grip back again, and that's why I was able to stay up front in the middle of the race. And then after our pit stop towards the end, everyone kind of bunched up and, just trying to survive. That's the number one thing. So definitely happy to be up here with you, Chris, finally.
Yeah, no, you definitely earned it. Yeah, right. Now you definitely earned it here tonight with that lucky stripe car, and might even had a lucky stripe on the car. But needless to say, man, talk about the racing out there, because the strategy, just trying to figure out when to pit, then it almost looked like a speedway race, the way you guys had to let off the gas, let the car kind of go through the corner and get back to the throttle, and the tough racing there. And then of course you and your teammates were up front there and had to battle, and just a hard fought race.
Yeah, definitely. It was it took some time to kind of figure out how to manage the grip, and luckily most people kind of figured out you do have to lift going into the corners. And I think when you lift early enough and just kind of try to get down towards the yellow line, you got a good exit. And so the exit speed was key during this race. And sometimes even if I was a couple feet off the yellow line, I found myself tapping the wall a couple times, and just had to readjust and just be patient with the car. And so I'm happy that most of our team members were able to stay up near the front and get a good result for everybody.
Great job tonight. Obviously getting a top 3 and kicking off the 87's with a great finish here tonight. That's got to be promising.
Yeah. I very happy, very happy with this result. I didn't think I'd make it here.
Well, you definitely did your part, man. Congratulations. Send some shout outs.
Yep. Thank you. Like to shout out to Team Forte Racing, my teammates Joe Wells, Travis, AJ. We got let's see, who am I forgetting? We got Shane, and we got Brady in the house. He made it through. So proud of everybody of the team. You know, the mechanics worked real hard in the shop getting the cars ready for this event, and hats off to everybody back at the garage as well. Can't forget those guys.
Well, great job tonight. Congratulations. And obviously, go celebrate with the team, and we'll see you at iRacing Super Speedway.
Will do. Gonna spray some champagne now. Thanks, Chris.
Absolutely, buddy. Eddie Rodney finishing in the 3rd position here tonight. Congratulations to him, as I believe that is his best finish all season long. Shane Ward backed up his pole run with a stage win tonight, and also came ever so close to a victory here tonight. Shane, obviously, congratulations. Obviously, the team doing the best you could for the most part up there, but some things happened there at the end that didn't get you to victory lane, but still a great 2nd place finish.
I'm happy with the finish. I mean, these cars are tough handle to drive, so any podium finish with these cars is a great finish.
Talk about the end of the race there, because obviously you had the 22 car that led most of the laps here tonight. Of course, Quentin Clark's in that battle with you guys, and I know you guys are probably trying to do everything you can to help each other out teammate-wise, but just unfortunately some argy-bargy and some hard race in there for the finish at the end.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, with these cars, it's hard. Like, if it was a truck, I could be able to push the 22 down the backstretch. We would have been able to clear the 42 easily. But with these cars, you have to lift, and if you lift, it gives the outside a little bit of momentum. 42 was able to get the momentum, get past both of us, and yeah, I was trying to stay with him, but yeah, I could only do what I could do.
How quick was that backwards lap?
I think it was like a minute and a half or something.
Not bad. Track record. Great job. Send some shout outs whoever you like to, bud.
Yeah, just shout out to my sponsors, Chris Fire. Shout out to NOS Energy. Special shout out to Joe Wells for doing every single one of my paint schemes so far this season. I think he's doing the rest of them as well. So huge shout out to them. Shout out to my teammates as well for all the positivity throughout the season. Shout out to you for the broadcast. Shout out to Scott and Lauren for running the league, and everyone else that's been out there to help me.
Got to feel pretty good to be up there in the top 2 in points after one race.
Oh, yes.
Great job tonight, bud.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Shane Ward finishing in the 2nd position after winning the pole, winning a stage. He did about as much as you could here tonight. Correct on his end. Quentin Clark, I mean, this guy went through it all as he got tangled up in an issue mid-race during a green flag run. Went out there and took 2 tires, got himself back in position to put himself up there in the lead, which allowed him to come to pit road there at lap 60 and get 4 tires and fuel and make the move there at the end. Quentin, obviously, congratulations, man. What a comeback. All in the green flag to win that race. I know, obviously, you're probably ecstatic to be able to pull this one off, but talk about the ending of that race and being able to make those moves.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah. I haven't touched this car in like 2 years, so I've literally practiced. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how much this thing plows, and had more give me some coaching, like am I braking, am I lifting, what are we doing here? And then the beginning of the race, my shifter just wouldn't get out of neutral. It just popped in neutral. It was just stuck in neutral. It's older, and I'm looking forward to a replacement someday, but luckily it figured itself out after that first lap. But I was just so upset. I mean, people were yelling, obviously, because you know, be stuck behind somebody who doesn't know how to shift.
Right.
So it just broke on me for the first restart, and then that sort of spin later, I don't know what happened. I didn't touch anybody. I mean, I may have gotten a little bit loose from somebody getting into the back of me. I saw some contact, but the car was fine. Got down on the apron to try to get out of everybody's way. As soon as I got back on the track, my wheel was 45 degrees to the right, and I had a meatball out of nowhere. Don't know why. The only 4X was the slight bit of contact that I thought got me loose in the first place. But so I had to dive in to get a faster pair just to keep so my laps were active, so I wouldn't get black flagged or disqualified. And thought, well, I'll just take rights, because if this puts me a lap down, I better hope that I get a caution and get the lucky dog, and then it ended up working out that I'm behind first place. And, just like, see if we can cruise here.
Well, man, what an effort it was, man. That 2-tire stop to get yourself back up there with Travis and to put yourself in position. Talk about the moves there, because obviously you have all of G Lightning around you, and then you have to go out there and kind of time your move, and you took advantage of a lap car and made it all work for you.
Yeah, that's a struggle, right? I mean, these guys are, not only are they fast, but they're such a strong team and supportive of each other. So it's like, it's a wall. I mean, it's literally a wall. Atlanta, it was a wall on the top. Here it was a wall on the bottom. You can't really pass on the top and keep the momentum for a run for it to work on the backstretch and the front stretch. So it was just trying to pick off one at a time if I could, and get to second and try to hold second and do what I did earlier and push Travis and just try to maintain there. And and Shane was aggressive. He deserved to be. He had every right to win that race too. And we just trying to keep from wrecking each other, but he kept it really clean and tried to get to the bottom of it a few times. And Travis is also blocking, and I'm like, if I get outside like I did with I think 3 to go, they'll freight train me and I got to restart. So I had to find a hole and keep it on the bottom as best I could, figure out how to get back around Shane. As soon as I saw that lap car, I was like, this might be my only ticket to actually make a move on the outside work, and it stuck. So I was just appreciative of that. I've been in that spot before in this car in another league, and done almost a bump and run and out of 4, and it worked until the guy came back down and turned me, and then it didn't work, and I just didn't want to risk that. And these guys they're good and they're clean, but they can be aggressive too. So I didn't want to get risk being turned from the lead again. So I was happy to cruise in second until I found the opportunity.
Well, great job tonight, man. Obviously a big win for you to start the 87 campaign off, and send some shouts over like to.
Yeah, this is a fun one. Shout out to my wife for watching and putting the kiddo to bed so I can race at nights. She does so much for our family. My parents are watching at home. I really thought I didn't have a chance at this one and thought I was going to wreck, so I'm glad I still sent them the link to watch. Shout out to Bon Fire for being on the car and giving me a bright and colorful paint scheme. It's one of the first paints I have ever done, and so I went back and spruced it up for this league, and I'm glad that I could bring it to victory lane. Shout out to Superior Templating. That's Roger's sponsor. He couldn't be here tonight, but really happy to get us our first win as High Spirits Racing. And shout out to Moore for giving me a little moral support at the beginning of the race, a little coaching, and I wish he had a little bit better luck in the race, but glad that we both finished, and glad to get us a win finally.
Well, great job tonight getting the team there that win, and obviously go celebrate, and we'll see you next week.
Appreciate you, man. Everything you do in the booth.
Appreciate it, bud. As Quentin Clark goes to Victory Lane here tonight, of course, Victory Lane presented by Vet to Track, as they help veterans, of course, experience the events of riding on a motorcycle on a specialized track and so much more. So big shout out to those guys for sponsoring the Victory Lane interview here tonight, as Quentin Clark goes to Victory Lane for the first time this season, kicking off the 87's with a win. And oh, by the way, one caution tonight. That was it, lap 10. And we went green all the way, and some great strategy and great racing throughout the night here was a lot of fun as I peek up here and see our Hard Charger Award presented by Superior Templating unofficially. Eddie Rorati, 16 spots from 19th to 3rd. Looks like will be our big mover here tonight in the Hard Charger, so shout out to Eddie on getting himself, looks like a Superior Templating Hard Charger Award here this evening. All right, let's go peek here and see if we have the points updated. Scott's usually on top of this, and I am noticing that they are updated, it looks like here. Let's give me a second here and get these updated momentarily. Thankfully, it does not take long to do. Hope everybody enjoyed the broadcast and hope you can hit that subscribe button and be a part of this each and every Tuesday night. As we take a look at the point standings after 1 of 4. Of course, each series has 4 races a part of them. A series of 4 races, 6 times, 6 different cars. Like I said, kind of comparable to Mario Kart, if you will. But our point standings right now, Shane Ward leads by 10 over Quentin Clark. Of course, Shane got that stage win earlier. That's what helped him there. 24 bonus points will get you the point lead real quickly. Eddie Rorty, 3rd. Dylan Pickle Simmer, Travis Gilbert, your top 5. As we will move on to iRacing Super Speedway next week for race number 2. Your overall points, 41 now, separating Wells from Gilbert. Shane Ward gets it down to about 230, so a lot of work to be done here in those points. But the good news, still plenty of time to go in the overall standings. So just a matter of fact, just hit 1/3 of the season finished as of right now. Team points, as G Lightning Motors continues to roar away here. 179 points over G Lightning Motorsports. TNT there in 3rd. You see High Spirits getting their first win tonight, as they are 2 back of 4th, but 229 back of the overall lead. All right, big shout out to all the sponsors again here tonight in this series. Of course, Vivid EV sponsoring the Pole Award here this evening. Our stage winner, Wise Guy iRacing Graphics. Hard Charger, Superior Templating. And of course, Vet to Track, the overall league sponsor and Victory Lane sponsor here tonight. So big shout out to all those guys for helping this league carry on each and every season. Big shout out to Scott and Lauren Wise for allowing me to broadcast as always tonight. Big shout out to the viewers for hanging out, and the racers for putting on a great race here this evening. And once again, a big shout out to all the veterans that fought for this country and those who continue to fight for this country. We think about you each and every day. And for those out there fighting, we hope you get back safely soon. And for those that did fight for the country, we appreciate your heroic events and being out there, of course, fighting for this country and for our freedom and stuff. So the least we can do is just say the words thank you. If you see a veteran, make sure you do that, please. All right, we're out. We'll see you next week. Next Tuesday night, iRacing Super Speedway, back league racing tomorrow night from the Chicagoland Speedway. So hopefully we'll see a 3rd night in a row tomorrow night. So feel free to come over and join us here on the Captain eSports Network. Remember, this isn't just a game, it's iRacing. See ya!
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, or retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain eSports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for your continued support, and he hopes you enjoyed today's broadcast.
The following is a special presentation. From the Captain eSports Network.